Congratulations to the Boston Celtics. They are champions of the NBA. And I find it clever or curious maybe what's happened to broadcasting. Because I saw at halftime yesterday Stephen A. Smith go off on the Dallas Mavericks because it was ridiculous that the stars for the Dallas Mavericks can't come to play. Okay? That's, by the way, not analysis. That's hot takey, which you're allowed to have that take, okay? Because the game felt like it was relatively over at the half. But I don't think that's analysis. Actually, I know that's not analysis. On the other hand, maybe a smarter take would be, hey, when they have all their players, the Celtics are the better team. And so oftentimes we like to go and pick apart champions and say, well, this team was injured and that team was injured and this happened and that happened, which is a reality. I'm not dismissing it. I do it. Everybody does it. But when they had Kristaps Porzingis, they were better than everybody else, especially better than the Dallas Mavericks. And the Mavericks were the classic case of because of, well, Oklahoma City not being ready for that level of competition or a good matchup against the Minnesota Timberwolves, who also hadn't been at that level of competition. Can we just keep it 100, as the kids say, and point out that the Celtics were the best team in the NBA in the regular season, and they were the best team in the NBA in the postseason, and that's why they're the rightful NBA champions. It's refreshing to have a worthy championship team. Because the best team in the West, when healthy, was probably the Clippers, but one, they're the Clippers, and two, they weren't healthy, so it's kind of a moot point. But the reality to all of it is here is a Celtic team that has been dominant throughout the season, and we shouldn't be surprised that they were dominant in the postseason. And, yeah, you can go into talking about how they struggled with Cleveland until Donovan Mitchell was hurt. Fair. They also didn't have Kristaps Porzingis. When they had Porzingis, it wasn't particularly close. And the other thing we do a disservice to the rest of the Celtics. Like, check out their roster. It's incredible, right? Their roster, these pieces fit together so well. And we talked about this a little bit earlier, maybe in this week, I guess it was, or maybe it was last week, where the perfect example is Drew Holiday, who had 15, 11 rebounds, and 4 assists. If Drew Holiday's your third or fourth best player, you have a great team. You can make an argument that he's their fifth or sixth best player. If he's your first or second best player, you don't. So, yeah, Jason Tatum finally sort of went off last night, although he didn't shoot the ball well, with the exception of one game in this series. Jaylen Brown had 21 but took 23 shots to do so. And as we searched for an MVP, and you could make the case that there should have been a dual MVP, the point is that the reason that you could search for it is it was really an ensemble cast doing it. True, you have two bona fide scorers, but you have a damn good roster. And you combine Derek White and Drew Holiday, add in Kristaps Porzingis and Peyton Pritchard and Sam Hauser, to go along with Al Horford, who's ancient but made 2 threes last night. And you can see that their overall roster isn't just very, very good. It's well put together. You have 2 stretch fives in Horford and Porzingis that opens up the lane for 2 dynamic downhill driving wings in Tatum and Brown. All of that works together. And a coach who thoroughly embraces the three-point shot. They shot 39 of them last night. And lastly, that's what happens when you have an upset. You know, we say this all the time when it comes to upsets in the NCAA tournament. Right? Everybody wants the upset, but then when you have upsets, sometimes you have a disparity in the next round's matchup. You have teams that aren't that good. That's what we have here with the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, it's really easy to be critical of Luka, who does end up with 28, 12, and 5. But you simply got to point out, what's he playing with? You know, Stephen A. can sit up there and rant all he wants about, hey, Luka and Kyrie have to be better. Kyrie's not as good as he used to be and continues to struggle against the Celtics. Luka appears to be a little heavy, a little hurt, and, oh, yeah, by the way, are you scared of Derek Jones? Are you scared of Daniel Gafford? Are you scared of P.J. Washington? I think the answer is no. He doesn't have the team. And how can I tell he doesn't have the team? Go look at where they were during the season. 50-32 is a very, very good record. But it is not one of the top 4 records in the NBA. And when you have the best record in the NBA against the 5th best record in the West, sitting here and telling you that the Boston Celtics, who were relatively dominant, especially when they had Kristaps Porzingis, this shouldn't be a surprise. And the true story is they're a rightful champion. They're the best team, and they played like the best team for the most part in the finals. Here's Joe Mazzulla, their head coach, talk about his 2 superstars.
I think the most important thing, something that's really been going through my mind throughout this process is you can't lose sight of the people that came before us. And I want to make sure every person that's worked for the Celtics, that's played for the Celtics, that didn't win, knows that their work and what they've done hasn't gone unnoticed or it doesn't play a part in where we're at today. It can be praise and criticism are both just as dangerous if you don't handle them well. And I think we talked about that as a team this year. Like, winning is just as dangerous as losing if you don't handle it well. And you need that. You need criticism. You need praise. You need expectations. All those things go into making who you are as a person, making who you are as people, as an organization.
Here's Jason Tatum talk about his critics after the game.
It's a real feeling. Still hasn't really kicked in yet. Just trying, I guess, to enjoy the moment. I kept saying, wow. These last 7 years have been a roller coaster, up and down. I had to listen to all the about me, and tonight it was worth it. Oh, my God.
Well, I love that. I mean, I'm not sure there was that much blank talked about you, but it is definitely worth it when you ultimately win a title. Here's Jaylen Brown and his teammate Jason Tatum.
Yeah, we just take it one game at a time. We started this journey together. We were both drafted here, and we both, have made Boston our home, and we just love getting after it, love growing, love getting better, chasing greatness. So I can't say enough about Jason Tatum, man. His sacrifice this year, his ability to just be selfless, really showed in the finals, really showed all playoffs, and I'm grateful, man. But I couldn't do it without any of my teammates, and JT, that's my brother for life.
Yeah, obviously, had they rematched with the Nuggets, last year's champion, you would have felt like that's a better series because it's a different and unique matchup. But their bench was different, and they couldn't get past the Wolves. The Wolves end up losing to the Mavericks. The Mavericks aren't an elite team, even though they have a couple of elite players. And a team with very good starters and an outstanding ensemble cast is the best team in the regular season, is the best team in the postseason. It shouldn't be a surprise. Was it a great watch? No. Do I think Dallas fought? I do. I think there's just a disparity in talent. And the Celtics are exceptionally well coached. It's not that Dallas is poorly coached, but, how differently can they attack considering how much their entire season is dependent upon Luka and how he plays?